Hello, I'm Rob from Energetic English, and in this episode we're going to be talking about something so important to British culture that we as British people are practically defined by it. It is, of course, tea. So, go and put the kettle on, make yourself a brew, and join me for a cuppa in just a minute. Now, I think most of us can agree that there is nothing more British than drinking tea. Understanding this subject can be a great conversation starter, a conversation filler, but misunderstanding the tea drinking culture could be a conversation killer. So let's look at some of the names that we have for tea. The first one is a cup of tea. This is a cup of tea. Well, technically it's a mug of tea. This is a cup and that is a saucer. This is how it's traditionally served in most tea rooms. This is a mug. This is a mug. This is a mug of tea. So, another word for tea. Cuppa. This is purely an abbreviation of cup of tea. I'll have a cup of tea. I'll have a cuppa, please. A cuppa. Another name for tea, especially in the north of England where I'm from, is a brew. Go and get a brew on, or can I have a brew please mate? There are many other names for tea, but perhaps one of the most interesting ones, especially if you visit London, East London specifically, is the Cockney rhyming slang for the name tea, is Rosie Lee. Could I have a cup of Rosie Lee please? As well as having a number of different names for tea, we also have a number of different expressions surrounding the topic or subject of tea. For example, if one of my friends came round to the house, he may ask me, is the kettle on? I say, no, I'll just go and get a pot on now. And when I say pot, I'm talking about this, a teapot. Another common expression that I might hear from my friends visiting my house is, I'm dying for a brew, or I'm gagging for a brew. It means that they really would like a cup of tea. There are also one or two idioms that you might be interested in surrounding the subject of tea. The first one is, it's not my cup of tea. And what this person is saying is that it is not something that they are interested in or bothered about. For example, would you like to go and see the ballet on Saturday? It's showing in the local theatre. Or, no, it's not really my cup of tea, thank you, but thanks for asking. Another expression that we have in the English language surrounding tea is not for all the tea in China. Now, when someone says this to you, it means that there is no way, no possibility, no chance that that person is going to do something. For example, would you like to go up the Eiffel Tower, right to the top? Not for all the tea in China. I'm terrified of heights. And if you've ever been to London, you may have heard people using Cockney rhyming slang. More on that in another episode. But for now, just understand that the words that are used are intended to rhyme with the real meaning of the word. For example, in our case, we're going to talk about a tea leaf. A tea leaf. If you call someone a tea leaf in London, you are calling them a thief. Tea leaf, thief. Hey, come back here with that money, you little tea leaf. Another example of Cockney rhyming slang in this case would be Rosie Lee. Any ideas what that might be? Rosie Lee? For example, alright my old China, fancy a Rosie Lee? All I'm saying there is, hi mate, would you like a tea? Okay, now we've talked about the different names for tea and the expressions that we use surrounding tea or involving tea. What are other important talking points surrounding the subject of tea? Perhaps one of the most important talking points surrounding tea is, how do you take your tea? This is a very British thing. Now, if you don't know how your guest enjoys their tea, then you should definitely ask this question. How do you take your tea? They may take it with milk, they may take it with milk and sugar, they may take it with lemon, or they may just take it black. This means without anything added. Understanding your guest's preference is very important, as tea drinking and tea making, as you know, is serious business. Some people like strong tea, some people like weak tea. Normally they will express a preference. We even have sayings to express the strength of the tea at either end of the scale. For example, if you like really strong tea, we call this builder's tea. It's very dark in colour and very strong, normally without much milk being added. And down the other end of the scale, if we were to receive a cup of tea that was particularly pale in colour and generally weak in taste, we would describe it as being like dishwater. This tea's like dishwater. Can I have another one, please? Another talking point might be whether you prefer loose tea or tea bags. Obviously, tea bags are more convenient, and loose tea is perhaps considered more elegant, more fashionable, perhaps. There are also different types of tea. Clearly, we have English breakfast, very popular and perhaps is the most common one in the UK. We have other examples that are perhaps slightly more fragranced. A good example of this could be Earl Grey. A particular favourite of mine is Darjeeling. This is known as the champagne of teas, and this is normally taken just black, as in without any milk. Okay, so now let's look at the types of meals that we have and what time of day they're at when we talk about tea. I'm going to give you 4 examples. The first one is cream tea. Now, as you might have guessed, it involves a cup of tea. But in addition to the tea being served, we also get a choice of plain or fruit scones with a portion of jam and cream. The cream is normally clotted. This is especially famous in Devon and Cornwall in the southwest of England, a Devonshire cream tea, for example. The second one is afternoon tea. Again, this comes with a pot of tea, but often is accompanied with sandwiches or other savoury nibbles or snacks. Afternoon tea, as you may have guessed, is served in the afternoon. The third one is high tea. And we've really seen this become popular again over the past couple of years. Many different bars and restaurants and cafes will do their own version of high tea, but broadly it's normally 3 plates stacked in a metallic frame, served with tea. On the 3 plates there will be sandwiches, cakes, and perhaps what we mentioned before, a cream tea. A common variation from this is perhaps instead of having a pot of tea, that there is a bottle of Prosecco or bottle of champagne served with the high tea. This is especially popular in the larger cities. High tea can be consumed pretty much at any time of day, although traditionally it is normally in the afternoon. And finally, tea. I think it's tea time. Now this is a very common expression in the north of England where I'm from, and it means dinner time. Is it time for tea? Now I'm not talking about the beverage, but rather the meal that is consumed at dinner or supper. Is it tea time yet? I'm starving. So, as you can probably see now, there is a lot to the tea drinking culture in Britain. These have only been a couple of examples of the technicalities encountered when you're talking about tea. Now, as you've probably seen, throughout the episode I have been without a proper co-host. They've been away on holiday this week, so they'll be back with me in the next session. Please like and share the video, and get in touch and let me know how you like your tea. Right, my brew's gone cold, so I'm going to go make myself another cuppa, and I'll see you next time.